Do you feel like finding a Filipina is a gamble? Are you afraid you're going to lose it all to the house? Well, if you are gambling, then that's a very strong probability. Now, I really do enjoy interacting with the comments that come in on my videos, and I have made a lot of new friends, and that's been a lot of fun. However, there are comments that I sometimes kind of scratch my head, and not in a negative way necessarily, but sometimes I do sort of scratch my head in wonder. I did a talk a few weeks ago about the guy that said that we, us foreigners, are the prize to the Filipina. And if you saw that one, you know that I took great exception to his comments and more or less the attitude behind the comments, and more or less had to speak my mind on the matter. So as a result of that video, another set of comments and another set of insights, but there was one that kind of stuck out and piqued my interest in particular. That he was very respectful, and he said while he, had to respect my opinion, that he himself had either himself personally or had observed, some very negative situations. So, in response to his comment, another commenter came in and basically said that he should keep digging until he found his diamond and that love is a gamble and not everyone wins. And he went on to say that there's nothing to lose in gambling your feelings for the next person who comes into your life. Well, obviously, I'd like to offer my own thoughts on the idea. Is finding a Filipina necessarily a gamble? Welcome back to the G5 Philippines channel and another enthralling talk about my life, my thoughts on being married to a Filipina and living in the Philippines. So yeah, if you've listened to me sharing my thoughts, you already know that I have a very high regard for the Philippines, the culture, and the Filipino people. I sort of feel like I represent the good side while, fully recognizing that no matter where we're from, no matter where we live, that there's always going to be the good and the bad side of things. I wasn't born yesterday. But I do want to circle back to the idea of finding a Filipina being a gamble. And in defense of the commenter, I'm sure that he used the word gamble. I'm sure that he didn't necessarily mean it in the literal sense, and that's cool. But I do get the sense, listening to a lot of guys talking about it, that there seems to be this underlying sense of risk or gamble in seeking out and finding your Filipina. And to break that down a little bit further, the gamble being the risk of investing yourself, investing your emotions, your heart, and your money for that matter into the relationship, only to find out that she was in fact using you for your money or whatever. And then she either splits on you or doesn't give you the sort of love and affection that you had hoped for, and whatever other negative situations that can come about. So, my response to his comment and the basis of this talk is hopefully to help you guys that are looking into the prospects of finding your own Filipina sweetheart. And while every man will travel his own journey, navigate his own path, do things his own way, if you will just fold my suggestions into your thought process, I'm not telling you what to do here, I might be able to help you flip that gamble into a what I call a methodical approach and thus a calculated risk. Because anything worth having, there's going to be a certain amount of risk involved, but it doesn't have to be a gamble. To me, I think of gambling as being dealt a random set of cards, and then you have to make that set of cards, you know, work and earn you the best results. But you have no control over the hand that you're dealt. What I'm suggesting is that we are the dealer, we have an open face deck, and we select the cards that we want to play. And now we're in complete control of how we want to play our hand. Does that make sense? Now let's put this into real world context in terms of finding your Filipina. And I have said many, many times that you want to open yourself up to a wide array of opportunity, of selection. I hate to use these sort of terms when we're talking about people, but the reality is, if we want to find the Filipina of our dreams, you're not going to walk into a bar and sit there for 2 hours and walk out with the Filipina girl of your dreams. Now, it's possible to walk out with that Filipina girl of your dreams, only you're going to get a one night stand type of experience or something like that. There's little probability that, in a one time visit to the bar or even a 10-time visit to the bar, are you going to find that girl. But it's more likely that you're going to end up disappointed, feel like you've wasted your time and your money for that matter, as opposed to finding that lifelong mate, which is what we're talking about today. And yes, I know I'm always talking about online dating, but it's because, and I'll use a gambling terminology, but it's because I hit the jackpot the first try. But for this talk, I'll refrain from talking about online dating, but just to say that the best way to avoid the gamble is just to not gamble. Play it safe, take it slow, have a plan. So I highly recommend applying a method to follow. Start out by making a list of your requirements. And yeah, that's kind of a harsh way to say it, but we all have our requirements. We all have our deal breakers. That's natural. And by the way, there's a good possibility she's going to have her deal breakers as well. Okay, so first step, make a list. You want to list all of the things that you need, you desire, you want, you require, and then make a list of the things that you don't care about, don't need, don't want, or cannot tolerate, and get that firmed up in your mind, because believe me, whether you start your adventure out in the street or online, you're going to be amazed by the beautiful women who will show you interest. Hello. And then once you've established a mutual attraction, then start becoming friends. Develop a friendship, develop the relationship, let it mature, give it time to develop. Learn about the person, learn about their desires, their needs, their wants. And believe me, if you do this, you will completely take every gamble out of the equation. And then from there, you begin to develop a trusting, long-term relationship, or not. The or nots, you just walk away. Nothing lost. And to put some more definition on calculated risk, what I mean by that is applying this methodical approach. You're now holding the hand of cards that you have dealt yourself. You are in control. You can decide to continue, or you can do a quick U-turn and walk away. And I truly believe this approach will help you in avoiding disappointments, or worse yet, being taken advantage of. Us guys, we are absolutely weak when it comes to the emotionals, the passions, things like that, especially when we're super attracted or infatuated, with the girl. Now, I will tell you, there's nothing wrong with being excited. Be excited. That's a lot of the fun of it. But just keep that wariness in your mind and look for the red flags. The red flags are real. Mind those red flags. Don't ignore them. If you ignore the red flags, that's when you're going to get yourself into trouble. And then when you feel like you've found the one, give it 3 months. Chit chat, talk, visit, get to know each other 6 months. The relationship with the Filipina will mature fairly quickly, and you will quickly realize a level of devotion from her unlike anything that you'll have ever experienced. Trust me when I say, there does not need to be any gamble involved in finding your Filipina sweetheart. Just apply a methodical approach, which will lead to some calculated risk, and then you can finally lean into a long and trusting and loving and devoted relationship and or marriage. Now, if you're watching these YouTube videos from us guys, I'm sure there's at least a minimum level of curiosity, or maybe even a more seriousness to exploring the prospects of getting involved with the Filipina. All I'm suggesting is to be wary. Keep a level head about yourself. Mind your checks and balances, and soon you'll be walking down the aisle that leads you to your happily ever after. All right, so I hope you found this helpful. And if you did, please hit the like button, share with your friends, hit the subscribe if you haven't already. And by all means, please leave your thoughts, your insights in the comments below, and you can bet I will be responding to you. All right, we'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.